What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus and infrastructure package update and daily news report for Sunday, April 25th. Now, yesterday I received a bunch of comments and a bunch of messages over kind of regarding my last video. And so I want to explain that because everybody's asking, how likely is it that we are going to get a permanent stimulus? Well, I want to address that, but I'm going to address that in just a minute. First, let me cover what we are going to go over in today's video. First, I want to address the permanent stimulus and kind of the news and talks behind that. Then I will go over how a group of 21 Senate Democrats are trying to introduce legislation in Congress at this point to reduce the age of Medicare from 65, not down to 60, not down to 55 like was previously reported, but down to 50. That is actually very big, and I will address that in a minute. We will discuss the current issues that the IRS is having regarding your IRS tax refunds, and I want to help you understand where things are currently at and the struggle regarding the infrastructure bill that could spell disaster for any additional stimulus. So that's what I'm going to go over in today's video. As always, if you enjoy these daily updates, can you do me a favor? Go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Now, let's get back to the permanent stimulus. If you didn't get a chance to watch my video that I did later in the evening last night, that will be the first link down in the description box below. So after this video, go and watch that. That will explain the entire thing and what is currently being discussed. Now, many lawmakers are calling for permanent stimulus because of how well the past few packages have done. Okay, we have the $2.4 trillion CARES Act that passed over a year ago. That helped out a lot. That gave a lot of people $1,200 stimulus checks. That gave a lot of people additional unemployment benefits. That gave unemployment to self-employed workers. That gave $600 boost for the unemployment benefits until July. That helped out a lot. A lot of people were pretty much lifted out of poverty, given a lifeline because of that. Well, wasn't only that. It was the previous stimulus package for $900 billion under former President Donald Trump, and the $1.9 trillion stimulus package that President Biden signed into law a little bit over a month ago. All of those three packages right there is what many are saying was what brought us to where we are now. And this is what is shown that a permanent stimulus, not just additional stimulus checks and monthly recurring stimulus checks to lower income individuals, that would help out greatly. But you combine that with something like unemployment benefits and the boost there. You provide those two things with a child tax credit and additional assistance, you're going to get a huge boost. And this is what some economists are saying, is that this entire stimulus that has been going out, this is what has really propped up the economy, gave the American people two legs to stand on. Because before this, everybody was wondering, well, how am I going to get paid? What am I going to do for income? What is there for me? And then we got stimulus, and it's like, oh, I can do this and I can do that. And there's rental assistance, nutrition assistance, and more relief to the American people. So many economists say that at this time, a monthly stimulus check would be great. It would have been better in 2020. However, now would be an incredible time to do this because the American people still need help. But the truth is that of all the bills proposed, whether they were monthly, whether it was more permanent stimulus or whatever, none of the bills currently have the majority of Congress's support. And that is a huge issue. We know Republicans are not going to go for this. We know some centrist Democrats are not going to support a monthly stimulus check. We know President Biden hasn't even brought it up. But this was a proposal by former Senator, now current Vice President Kamala Harris, of $2,000 per month, a monthly stimulus check. This is something that has been reiterated multiple times by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Bernie Sanders, and everybody that really has a say right now has mentioned what a big difference a multiple stimulus checks or a monthly stimulus check would do. So yes, there are talks, there are proposals out there, but every proposal that we currently see is pretty much open-ended, which means there's no end date. The end date is when the pandemic is over. When President Biden declares the state of emergency is over with. When that happens, then the stimulus checks would actually go from monthly to either none anymore, or go from $2,000 down to $1,000, or change in some way. So, until we get a stronger stimulus check proposal, when I say stronger, I don't mean more. I mean that there's more clarity, there's more information, there's more specifics and details. Once we see that, then, and if it addresses the problem as far as the specific amount of time, okay, only then, or if it ties to the unemployment rate or the current economic conditions, only then, okay, when all that stuff happens, when all that stuff is in a line, then we could potentially see a larger amount of support behind this bill. But what I can tell you right now is permanent stimulus is still being discussed, still being talked about, but until we get a little bit more detail and a better, stronger proposal, that is the only thing, according to many experts, that will get us closer to seeing permanent stimulus, which some are calling universal basic income. So, until we see that happen, at this point, we just don't know. I do believe, according to, after reading many articles, watching many interviews and a lot of different videos, I do believe we will see some form of permanent stimulus. However, the current talk is the permanent stimulus that we're going to see, it's not going to be a stimulus check. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be unemployment benefits, even though it's greatly needed. Some are saying that it's not going to be that. What it will be, we already know it's going to be included, is there's going to be an extension to the child tax credit, which again, we still haven't even received. Those payments are supposed to come starting in July. The portal is supposed to open in June. Well, we're almost in May, and we have heard almost nothing. What I can tell you is, if we see the child tax credit get extended, and that's more of a permanent fixture in the tax code, that would be great for people that have children. But experts are saying, well, what about the people that don't have children and elderly? What about them? They will be completely left out. Experts also warn that leaving these two groups of people out of additional stimulus and something that is more permanent will just create another problem within the next 12 to 24 months. So, again, that's not great, but this is also where House Democrats are planning to step it up. What we know is that House Democrats are planning a push for health care in the American Families Plan. Nancy Pelosi even stated that she is drawing a hard line on including health care in the bill. We should know more on this bill. President Biden is still trying to work through the details. He's still speaking with advisors, trying to figure out what all should be in this next infrastructure bill. According to reports and according to Bloomberg and the Washington Post, it is going to be right about $1 trillion. However, some experts do say this will most likely balloon up to about $1.5 trillion. So if we factor in the $1.5 trillion estimated for this new American Families Plan and the $2.25 trillion, we're looking at about $3.75 trillion, so a little bit under $4 trillion in infrastructure. And that is exactly what Bloomberg estimated about a month ago. So that's very close. But Nancy Pelosi stated this will be in there. She is going to include healthcare in this next bill. So by including healthcare in the American Family Plan, this would ultimately, according to Nancy Pelosi, this would lower the cost of prescription medications, and this would provide better health care, and it would allow patients to keep most of their money. This is the issue. And a lot of millionaires and billionaires will tell you the exact same thing. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you can keep. Okay? You can make $1 million a year, but if you spend 1.5, you will always be broke. If you can make $100,000 a year, but if you only spend $20,000, you will always be able to make $80,000 extra per year. So you will be able to live a great life. Well, this is what some are saying, is that we need to figure out a way to either give the American people more money or figure out a way to allow the American people to keep more of the money that they earn. So we're going to see both of those. We're going to see most likely some tax credits, and we will most likely see some form of stimulus or additional relief, maybe in the form of healthcare. So again, we don't know, but we will find out later on this week. What Democrats do want to do at this time is provide multiple ways for people to save money, to get more money, and be able to shift from that trickle, where we're at now, whereas we're doing kind of that trickle down economics. We want to see that shift towards trickle up economics. That's what many Democrats are proposing, is let's do whatever we can to provide for the little guys, provide for the lower income individuals, provide for them, because if we provide for them, they will lift up the entire economy. There's more low income individuals than billionaires and the super rich. Okay? So just keep that in mind. We are going to see a big shift, and that shift will most likely start this coming week. But as always, as we know more there, I promise I will fill you in on all the details. Economists say that the trickle-up economics has been working, and so we need to continue this approach to see the economy recover even faster. Even though House Democrats planned for a push on healthcare, the Senate is not waiting. What we know is the other day, 21 Senate Democrats reintroduced legislation in Congress to lower the qualifying age of Medicare from 60 down to 50. The 15-year jump is going to help a lot of people. Senators stated that this legislation would give millions of Americans an option to get health care coverage that they need and can afford. Even Senator Tammy Baldwin, she had this to say, and I quote, "When it comes to providing affordable health care for every American, there is more we must do right now to change the status quo, improve our health care system, and lower costs." That's exactly what I was saying. They want to improve the healthcare system and lower costs. Improving the healthcare system, number one, it's just going to improve the quality of care. If you lower costs, it's not going to take your money and transfer your wealth to these large corporations. It's going to allow you to hold on and retain the money that you earned. That's what Democrats are wanting. That's what they're proposing. Okay? They're calling this American Family Plan the anti-poverty plan. That's their other name for it. So what do you think is going to happen there? Okay? Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think Democrats are planning on doing? Because we will know this week, but we will see what happens. One of the biggest pushes of this legislation is coming because of multiple studies that have been done over this past year. Studies are now showing that people between the ages of 50 and 65, okay, are delaying their care. People between the ages of 60 and 65 are really delaying their care 5 years because they know there's really two reasons. Number one, they just can't afford it outright at this point. Number two, if they just hold off and wait until they qualify for Medicare, they can get all this stuff covered. So what some are saying is that studies as of right now are saying that, people that pretty much wait until 65 are going to have a harder time because they haven't been caring for themselves for the past, few years. And let me know down in the comment section below, if you are between the ages of, let's say 50 and 65, are you delaying certain procedures? Are you delaying going to the doctor? Are you delaying different types of medication simply because it's too expensive? You don't have the time to, maybe sit out for a surgery or whatever it may be. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm curious because, again, I am not 65 years old. You can probably tell. Okay, I'm only 33 years old. So I don't go to the doctor very often. I do regular, vision checks. I do dental, obviously dental visits twice a year. And so I do, regular maintenance, but that's about it. I'm just curious, what do normal people, what do average Americans do when they're between 60 and 65? Are you always at the doctor? Are you always paying for prescription medications? Let me know. Again, I'm only 33 years old, so I don't fully understand this. I get where we're at. I get the struggle. I get the issues. Okay, and I'm all for providing additional relief to those that are older, because I know I'll be there at some point, and I'd want that relief. Probably when you were, or your family was, 20, 30, 40 years old, you're like, yeah, I think they should get some more help. Well, yes, we need to provide for the elderly. And right now it seems that Congress is starting to pick up a little bit on what the American people want. And the American people do want help for the elderly. So even though bringing the age from 65 down to 50 could help millions of Americans. This is being pushed through the infrastructure bill. Okay, and I want to bring this up because this is the big issue. Right now, the problem is that right now, there are so many pieces of legislation trying to be pushed into the infrastructure bill that some say we might not even see this happen. We know that a handful of Democrats don't support the infrastructure bill the way it is sitting right now. Some don't like the tax cuts or the tax hikes. Some don't like, where the money's going. Most Republicans don't like that there's more to it than just roads, bridges, waterways, and ports. And so we will see what happens there. And this week, President Biden is going to unveil his roughly $1 trillion infrastructure bill, the American Family Plan. He's going to do that this week. Once this happens, then we should have a better understanding of exactly what is going to be in there and how many Democrats would most likely support this bill. Remember, there's a very slim majority in the House. There is no majority in the Senate. It's a 50-50 split. So if one Senate Democrat defects, then it would essentially mean that the bill is dead. It will not pass. So once we know more there, I promise I will fill you in all the details. But here's a common question that I've been getting over the past week, and this has to do with the IRS. Many of you guys in the community have been asking, when are we going to receive our tax refund checks? The IRS hasn't sent me anything. Well, I don't get a tax refund check. I haven't for many years. But here's what we know according to the IRS. The IRS is extremely backed up. They're currently behind by roughly 29 million tax returns. Now, this is simply the manually processed tax returns. If you sent in a paper copy and you didn't e-file, the IRS says they have about 29 million paper copies. So the IRS says that you should e-file if you haven't filed your taxes yet, because if you don't and you send in a paper copy, this could potentially risk your return, because it most likely will not come for many more months. The IRS is hoping to get to the bottom of this. However, they are still extremely backlogged because they don't have the staff to actually go through these. When you send in a paper copy, when you paper file, okay, what happens is these have to be manually processed by staff. And the issue there is they don't have that many people because obviously, the virus. One of the reasons for this also is that many people that don't normally file, because the IRS has a lot more, there's actually a surge in additional refunds. But the reason for this is because normally people that do not file, they don't file the next year either. They never file, right? They don't make enough to file. But many more people are filing for 2020 because they didn't receive their $1,200 or $600 stimulus checks. So, according to reports, just understand that these delays are because of the pandemic and the stimulus money that has been sent out. If you haven't received all your stimulus money, you need to actually file your 2020 tax return, potentially get it. The IRS says don't file with a paper return. Make sure you e-file, all right? Now, if you're still waiting on a tax return, the IRS says the only thing you can really do is just wait and be patient. If you do have to wait too long, they will also send you an interest payment on top of your tax refund check. So that would be good news there. But as of right now, that is all we know for today. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. If you have any questions, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.